go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Welcome into the Steelers Talk Live show on a Victory Tuesday. My name is Jack Sperry, your host. That is producer Jeffrey Cooperstein. Coop, how are we doing today on Victory Tuesday?
I say this every time we have a Victory Monday, do I have the wrong one? No, I'm good. I say this every time we have a Victory Monday or Tuesday. Imagine not being 6-2.
Imagine not being
Couldn't
6-2.
be me.
Imagine not being first place in the AFC
Couldn't
North.
be me.
All I'm hearing about today is how good the Ravens are. The Ravens are the best team in the NFL, best team in the AFC.
They blow.
I mean, well, all I got to say, man, right now, Steelers at the top of that division. And, as we know, we take their lunch money.
We're the Ravens puppies.
I mean, Kenny Pickett was Lamar Jackson's daddy. Just imagine what Russell Wilson is going to do to Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens in a couple
And don't worry,
weeks.
we will get to the Diontae Johnson trade.
Yes, we will. On today's show, guys, the latest news and rumors surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers. Talking a little bit about Diontae Johnson, talking a little bit about Darius Slayton, talking a little bit about this team in general coming off of that big-time win versus the New York Giants on Monday Night Football last night. Then also, we got my updated record prediction to finish off today's show as we head into the bye. We're currently sitting at 6-2. And I'm very much looking forward to the rest of this season. But in the second half of the season here, you got the Commanders, you've got the Eagles, you've got the Chiefs, and that's not even mentioning you have your entire slate of AFC North opponents in the second half. You really don't have an off week in the second half of the season.
And that's why it was so important to rack up these wins here in the first half of the season, because you know the schedule is going to get difficult here. Bye comes at a pretty perfect time to try and get healthy before this gauntlet you're going to have to face in weeks 10 through 18.
Absolutely. Before we get into the content today, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. I mean, guys, we actually had multiple people that watched this show attend last night's game between the Steelers and Giants at Acrisure Stadium. If you guys want to see more Steelers games live this year, Game Time Picks is a brand new feature from our friends at Game Time, which filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets on a bunch of different ticketing apps. The way that it works is you download the free Game Time app, you find an event you want to go see, you select the game, you select that event, select the Game Time Picks button at the top of the screen, and it automatically filters through every single ticket on their database to find you the best seats at the best prices with the best deals for you and your family. It's a huge time saver. You don't have to spend hours of research on a bunch of different ticketing apps. Game Time is perfect for you because of all the great features that they have. First of all, you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event. So you're not going to find a lower price ticket anywhere else on any other ticketing site. Also, you get all-in pricing right on the app, so you don't get slapped with a crazy fee at checkout. Then also they have flash deals, so if you're someone like me, likes to get tickets last minute, you guys can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to the event. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. You can create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off that first purchase. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. So, guys, if you want to get on the show today, you guys can send in a super chat, and we'll put you up on screen. If you got a question, if you have a comment on the Diontae Johnson trade, if you have an idea, a trade idea that you want to get on the show, if you super chat, we'll put you up on screen, and we'll talk about your question on the show here. Also, if you want to send in a donation via Venmo, Cashapp, or PayPal, we actually get to keep more of the money that you guys donate if you send it in via Venmo, Cashapp, or PayPal. YouTube takes a 30% cut of every single super chat you send in, and then if you're sending it in on an Apple product, Apple takes another 10%. All right, so if you want us to keep more of the donation dollars that you guys send in here to help us upgrade our equipment, our graphics, our office space, or the whole 9 yards, you guys can send it to @Jack-Sperry on Venmo, # Captain Jack 19 on Cash App, or @Captain Jack Rabbit on PayPal. Do want to say it's not required by any stretch of the imagination. All we care about is that you guys love the Pittsburgh Steelers and want to talk some ball with us. But if you want to send in kind of like a tip or a donation to help us out here at Steelers Talk, we would greatly appreciate it.
If you hate the Browns, that's all we really care about.
That's all we care about is that you hate the Browns, absolutely. And the Ravens.
And
the Ravens.
them too.
And so let's talk. So Coop's going to be rolling through our Black Diamonds here, these are the people that have put in at least $500 or more on a singular stream, or Platinum 666 or Kurgan Cole donated them a membership. This is the lifeblood of our community. If you are a Black Diamond, you get your very own Super Chat sticker. You guys can see all the stickers that we have up on the screen right now. And by the way, nothings is just a black square. It's not
because it is nothing.
Because it is nothing, right? So appreciate each and every one of the people in this chat right now that is a Black Diamond. If you guys want to join Black Diamond Club today, you guys can spend $500 on today's stream. I know it's a lot of money, but with as many Black Diamonds as we have, it's got to be more kind of an exclusive price tag, all right? We've got over 70 Black Diamonds currently. I still have to get to some of the stickers. F. Sperry in the chat, but I appreciate each and every one of you guys for all the support that you give to me and Coop here at Steelers Talk. So type me in the chat here. Let's see who's in the chat. Who are the real ones that are here? We got Dominic in here. What's up, Dominic? Got Lucas Skew here.
What up, Luke?
What's up, Luke? We got Emery Underwood. Got Marco Pruitt. We've got LJ. We've got Lucas Skew. We got Nico. What's up, Nico? We got Pat Lepla here. We got Christian Andujar, Zachary Showers, Wayne, David Keeley says, Jack, are you going for the Commanders or Steelers in 2 weeks? Well, this is what I'll say to that, because I have a lot of, a lot of people know that most hosts cover 2 teams.
That is correct.
Unless it's like, unless you're like Tom Downey with the Cowboys Report, or Harrison Graham with the Bears, or Mitchell Renz with the Raiders. You have to cover multiple teams here at Chat Sports if you are a host, especially if you are only a host. So I've got a lot of love for the Commanders, but all I'll say is check out my Twitter and see who I tweet about more to see where my allegiances mostly lie.
That's a very diplomatic answer.
Yeah, and I have an NFC team and I have an AFC team, and it works out great. They don't play each other too often, but let's just say we're going to be going live on Steelers Talk, not the Commanders Report, when we come back from the bye, okay? We got Lucas Samuel here. We've got Evan Clark. We got Damian Maturo. We got Kermit is my God. What's up, Kermit? We got Damian. Got George Pickensburg. We got Charles NVA. Got Steelers fan 2010. We got Lucas Samuel X0. Keenan is cool is here. What's up, Keenan? Let's go, man. Keenan is cool says, you put Colton for my name instead of Keenan. No, Keenan, we did put you on there. Coop, can you show that we put him up on the new graphic? We got you,
Keenan. I might have messed up the sticker, but we got you on there.
Yeah, we got you on there, Keenan. We reshook up the graphics because we made some new stickers, so we put you in a different spot.
We'll get your sticker back
Keenan on. So Sharky Bait, first time super chat. Let's give him some Rick Flair drip. Woo! And he says, good riddance to Diontae Johnson, long overdue. In just a second here, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the Diontae Johnson trade to Baltimore. You can see right there, Keenan, we put you on there. I think Coop forgot to put your sticker
I forgot
in
you
the
put
new
your
graphic
sticker on.
though.
We'll put it back on there. Don't worry.
We'll put it back on there here momentarily. So type those me's in the chat if you guys have clicked that thumbs up icon. We got 200 people watching live. We have to get to 50 likes before we get into our first segment today. So, Coop, give some shout-outs here while people spam that thumbs up icon.
Titus Kitchen says you can't be a Steeler fan and a Commander fan.
I can't. Well, I mean,
more or less, it's our job.
More or less, it's our job to cover both teams.
Exactly.
So what I'll say is my heart is certainly with one of the teams, and
and it's the one we're live on right now.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
I mean, just check out my Twitter to see where my heart is at. But I do have a lot of respect, and I do have a lot of I have a lot of good feelings about the Washington Commanders. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily like a full-blown Commanders fan.
Yeah.
I'm more of a true Steelers fan than a Commanders fan, but obviously for our jobs here, we have to cover multiple teams. So I do enjoy working with the Commanders Report and doing my part for that channel.
No doubt.
Make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already. Like the stream. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Ollie the Reaper says, I contact Jack all the time. He's a Steelers fan. Ollie, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for helping us out.
I sit next to Jack every day. I can tell you who he's a fan of.
All right, we got the 63 likes.
Let's go.
Let's get into our first segment here.
Alex
the latest.
L says he sent to Cashapp.
Oh, he did. Okay, I will send it. So we'll get to this here before we get into our first segment here. There we go. Boom.
We got you, Alex?
So something that's interesting here, while Coop gets that Venmo alert up, Cam Sutton got reinstated today, so he is eligible to practice with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The big question is, what kind of role is he going to have when he comes back? Because, is he going to be the starting slot corner immediately over Beanie Bishop Jr.? I mean, Beanie's had 3 interceptions in the past 2 weeks, and
the game-sealing one against the Giants.
Yeah, and he's gotten better each and every week. It seems like. He's been getting a lot better in coverage as well. I think that what we can expect from Cam is that he might be more of a dime backer to start. And if Beanie starts struggling again, I think they do eventually go to Sutton as their starting slot corner. But the great thing about Cam is his versatility.
Yeah.
They tried him out at free safety during training camp this year. Obviously, he can play in the slot. He can also play outside. So if Joey or Dante, God forbid, gets hurt, Cam Sutton is somebody that has been a number 1 corner in this Steelers defense on the outside before. So I think that the Steelers have a lot of really good depth in the secondary this year. And it's good to have all these guys with so much starting experience in this Steelers defense this season. Alex Lanier coming in with a $5 cash app. Appreciate you, my man. And he says, let's go Steelers. I appreciate you,
Let's
Alex.
go, Alex.
Let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's get today's show off on the right foot. If you guys want to get on the show, if you guys want to get your trade idea, your comment, your whatever, a question on the show, you guys can send in a super chat, and we'll make sure it gets up on the screen right next to me, and we'll talk about whatever topic you guys want to talk about. In the time being here, let's get into our first segment of the day, the latest news and rumors surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers. Welcome into Steelers Talk. I am your host, Jack Sperry. Welcome into the show. And today we've got a bunch of great Steelers news and rumors coverage to get to here today on Victory Tuesday after a win on Monday Night Football. First up on the show, Diontae Johnson, former Steelers wide receiver, has been traded to division rival, the Baltimore Ravens. So we'll talk about that trade, the impact it has on the division, and my initial thoughts on Diontae Johnson going to Baltimore. Then we'll talk a little bit about Darius Slayton. If you guys have been watching the show, you guys know I'm pretty high on Darius Slayton. I'd love the Steelers to go out and make a trade for him. But there's a report saying that the Giants might be holding on to him, and then they are not shopping him before the NFL trade deadline. So before we get into the content today, if Omar lands a receiver here, and I do think that the Steelers will eventually make a move for another wide receiver before next week's trade deadline, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel for our breaking news coverage. We most likely will be going live once Omar eventually comes up here with a trade, so make sure you click that subscribe button to never miss any of our free coverage on the Steelers here on YouTube. So now we have a new enemy here in Pittsburgh. Of course, we trade Diontae Johnson away to the Carolina Panthers this offseason. The Steelers thought he wasn't being a good locker room presence, specifically for the young George Pickens. And the Carolina Panthers have now traded Diontae back into the AFC North to the Steelers' arch rivals in the division at this point, the Baltimore Ravens. What they ended up doing was that they did kind of a pick swap. So the Carolina Panthers get a 5th-round pick from the Ravens, and then the Ravens get a 6th-round pick and Diontae Johnson from the Carolina Panthers. So this just proves that, some of these teams around the National Football League, they kind of feel like Diontae isn't the best locker room presence, and they don't necessarily see him as a true number 1. They kind of see him as kind of like a nice piece to have in the wide receiver room. I do think that Deontay's a good receiver. I wouldn't necessarily classify him as a elite receiver or a true number 1. I think he's a very good number 2. You guys can see what the Ravens have to work with here in terms of their offensive pieces. This is among, if not the most talented group of weapons that any team in the National Football League has, in my opinion. We know Lamar Jackson is a 2-time MVP. Derrick Henry currently leads the league, I believe, in yards per carry. I know this Baltimore Ravens rushing attack does lead the league in yards per carry by a wide margin. I think by over a yard, which is just absolutely crazy when you're talking about averages. And then at the wide receiver position, you got 2 really good separators with Diontae Johnson and Zay Flowers. Rashad Bateman is kind of their bigger receiver for red zone stuff and kind of, the 50-50 ball situations. So you got 2 good tight ends, and Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews, and then Justice Hill's a very good scat back on 3rd downs and good receiving back. So they got a lot of talent there in Baltimore. Their offensive line is starting to come together as well. And my one-word reaction to Diontae Johnson going to the Ravens is good. All right, I'm going to stare into the face of this and say, yes, I like this. I like the fact that the Pittsburgh Steelers get to play this guy twice this season, maybe even 3 times, and we know what the Pittsburgh Steelers do against the Baltimore Ravens. They win. Even Kenny Pickett was Lamar Jackson's daddy in this matchup, and now that Russell Wilson is here and the offense is humming the way that it is, I think that the Steelers once again are going to take care of business against the Ratbirds. I don't care if they have Diontae Johnson or not. Speaking of this division here, I think most people still expect Baltimore to win this division, even though the Steelers have sole possession of first place, sitting at 6-2. Ravens sitting at 5-3, just lost to the Cleveland Browns last week on the road. Cincinnati currently sitting at 3-5, and it certainly seems like their season is hanging in the balance in the weeks to come. There in Cincinnati. Now, according to based on the NFL trends of teams that start season 6-2, the Steelers have an 89% chance to make the NFL playoffs this year. So a fantastic start for the black and gold. It's not a 100% chance, but it's definitely a heavily favored percent chance here that the Steelers are going to end up making the playoffs in the AFC, either as division champions or as a wild card. But right now, you look at the odds based on the ESPN projections that they have, they still expect the Baltimore Ravens to have more than a 50% shot to win this division over the Pittsburgh Steelers, currently giving them a 56.8% chance to win the division, whereas the Steelers only 39.4%. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. What is the percent chance that the Pittsburgh Steelers win the AFC North over the Ratbirds this year? Put it on a scale of 0 to 100 for me down there in the comment section. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So here in just a second, I'm going to tell you about our sponsor today at Game Time. While I'm talking about Game Time, go down there in the comment section, find that pinned comment. It's right up there at the top of the comment section, and give me a percent chance between 0 to 100 of the Steelers' chances to win this division. And with that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And folks, we actually had multiple people that watch our show attend the Steelers and Giants Monday Night Football game, and for that matter, both of the Sunday Night Football games as well, because they use the brand new feature on the free Game Time app called Game Time Picks. And what it does, guys, is that it filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets, and help you get the best tickets at the best prices with the best deals for you and your family. Super easy to use. You just download the free Game Time app. You find an event you want to go see, select the GT Picks button at the top of the screen, and it automatically filters through their entire database to find you the best tickets at the best prices with the best deals, so that you guys can always make sure that you guys are getting the best tickets for you and your family, but you don't have to waste hours of research here on a bunch of different ticketing sites to try to find the best tickets. What I love about using the Game Time app, and why it's the only ticketing app I have on my phone right now, is that you guys get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event. You also get all-in pricing right up front, so you don't get slapped with a crazy fee at checkout. You also get flash deals, so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to game time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. You can create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So let's talk about Darius Slayton, the guy that I have really suggested the Steelers go out and target before next week's NFL trade deadline to kind of revamp their wide receiver position and kind of put the cherry on top of this wide receiver room, which has started to look better with Russell Wilson under center over the last several weeks. But according to a new report, the Giants need to be quote-unquote blown away by a trade in order to trade Darius Slayton before the deadline. This comes from Mike Garafolo this morning, saying 2 impending free agents for the Giants who are valued inside the building would have to be blown away to trade either, from what I gather. And in this post, he is talking about Azeez Ojulari, the edge rusher, and Darius Slayton, the wide receiver. So here's what I'll say about this particular situation, okay? I think that, New York probably isn't going to trade Darius for nothing. He is still relatively young. He is a very good player for them. And we saw him play last night. He played a pretty darn good game for the New York Giants. And I do think you have to give him at least a little bit of something for them to trade him. But you look at what they did with his contract this year. They didn't give him that extension. They pretty much gave him a pay raise for this season, and he's still slated to be a free agent next year. All right, so if they get a good enough draft pick here, I think they're probably going to take a trade. And honestly, I think that they like him, but they probably don't love him enough to keep him long term, and I do think they're open to trading him. And honestly, this smells like they're just trying to jack up the trade price. Right now, Darius Slayton is number 2 on my list of Steelers' top wide receiver trade targets. Cooper Kupp, I think, is a little bit less likely right now because the Rams are 3-4, and they're in the thick of their division race there in the NFC West. But if they lose to Seattle next week, they're sitting at 3-5. I still think Cooper Kupp is a legitimate possibility. But right after Kupp, it's Darius Slayton, who last night for the New York Giants actually played pretty darn well against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Had 4 catches for 108 yards, was a downfield threat, was getting open consistently, and he was probably Daniel Jones' most reliable target yesterday. Maybe Malik Neighbors could get that, but honestly, Neighbors dropped a couple passes he should have caught. I thought Darius Slayton had really reliable hands. He was getting open down the field, and that's exactly what the Steelers need out of this wide receiver acquisition. Somebody that gets open down the field and can be a vertical threat for Russell Wilson, who loves to throw the football down the field. Personally, what I'm offering for Darius Slayton's services here is a 5th-round pick. I think that's more than fair based on what we've been seeing from all the other receivers that are being traded for right now. I think a 5th-round pick is more than fair. The Steelers have 2 of those things in next year's NFL draft, so you give away one of them to get a guy in Darius Slayton that gets you that much closer to potentially winning a title here in 2024 in Pittsburgh. So let me know down there in the comments section, would you accept this deal if you were Steelers GM Omar Khan? Type A if you would accept it, or type D if you're going to decline it. Let me know what you guys think. For me, I am accepting this trade in a heartbeat, but let me know what you guys are thinking down there in the comments. Now, before I go here, I do want to break down some numbers here from the Steelers offense and defense to kind of let you guys know how this team is doing now that Russell Wilson has made the transition to being this team's starting quarterback. And, you look at the numbers here since Russ took over in these last 2 games. Now, I understand that this is in kind of smaller sample size, all right? But right now, you're scoring 31.5 points per game. That would be 2nd in the National Football League this year if it was for the entire season. And also, you can make an argument the Steelers left 12 points on the field last night because there should have been 3 touchdown passes that Russ threw that ended up not being touchdown passes. Then also the yards per game would also be 2nd with 417.5 yards per game. And now, obviously, Russ isn't getting all those. That's part on the run game. But Russ's ability to target down the field is opening up the run game in a way that we just haven't seen in the past when the quarterback play wasn't pushing the ball down the field when they were supposed to. On 3rd down, the 3rd down offense has been a lot better under Russ than it was with Justin Fields. 40.7% conversion rate. It was almost 50% last night against the Giants, so it would be 7th right there. The big time throw percentage is above league average at 5.0% right now, and then the turnover-worthy play percentage is just at 1.5, and the only turnover-worthy play he's had was that fumble last night against the Giants, and that's sitting top 5 in the National Football League right now. So this offense under Russ is performing a lot better. And you take a look at the stat comparison here between Justin Fields and his time with the Steelers versus Russell Wilson in his 2 games. And obviously it's limited sample sizes for both, especially Russ. But with Russell Wilson, the offense is scoring over 10 more points per game. The completion percentage is lower, but that's because Russell Wilson's pushing the ball down the field more often. Justin Fields was taking more checkdowns, so the completion percentage was slightly higher, but you want to see the efficiency of the offense here. Russell Wilson is averaging almost a 1st down per pass attempt at 9.5 yards per attempt. With Fields, it was all the way down to 6.5. And then the big-time throw percentage, you're seeing more big-time throws from Russell Wilson, beating Fields by 1.5%, which is quite a bit when you look at these percentages. And then, if you're going to say, well, Russell Wilson only played the Jets and Giants, well, here's where these 2 teams ranked in terms of the defensive ranks when the Steelers played them. The Jets were actually higher than that when they played them a couple weeks ago. Right now, they're sitting at 11th in points per game allowed. They're 4th in yards per play allowed. All right, so these 2 defenses, they're not necessarily just complete pushovers. The Giants led the league in sacks coming into the night. They were 3rd in 3rd down percentage given up. The Steelers converted on almost 50% on 3rd down last night against the top 3 3rd down defense. So, I mean, if you want to say that the competition's terrible, that's why Russ is looking good, I just have to push back on that because I would say the Jets and Giants, maybe they're not top 5 or top 10 defenses, but they're definitely decent NFL defenses, and Russ has been carving them up. So make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already, if you believe in Russell Wilson. I certainly do. I watched the film earlier this morning, man, and let me tell you, this guy had a stellar performance. Should have thrown 4 touchdowns. He was so efficient, over 70% completion percentage after kind of a rocky first 2 quarters against the Jets. The last 6 quarters for Russell Wilson and this Steelers offense has been unbelievably good. So now on to the defense here and kind of just checking up on how this Steelers defense is ranking among NFL teams right now. They currently rank 2nd in points per game allowed at just 14.9. The only one higher is the Los Angeles Chargers. The yards per game and yards per play are still sitting within the top 10 as well. And then really where this Steelers defense is standing out is their ability to stop teams in the red zone and then also produce turnovers. They're currently 3rd in the National Football League in takeaways with 15, and they're stopping teams in the red zone at nearly a league-high rate. And then, of course, they're just outside the top 10 in third down percentage as well, which is certainly respectable. So you look at the offense with the way that they're playing right now under Russell Wilson, with the run game playing as well as they're playing, then the defense is undeniably a top 5 unit. You can certainly make an argument there. I think they're definitely a top 5 unit in the league right now. I mean, this is one of the more balanced football teams in the National Football League, and we haven't even talked about the Steelers having the best special teams unit in the league. So when you look at all 3 phases, this is a Steelers team that is extremely dangerous. They have a number of ways to beat you. They have a very clear and defined, identity on every area of this football team, man. So I'm so excited to see what this team does the rest of the season. And to this point, they have been looking damn good, especially these last 2 weeks. So predict it for me down there in the comments section. Will Pittsburgh win a playoff game this year? Give me a yes or a no. Personally, I think this Steelers team is built to win in the postseason. They can run the football. They can stop the run. They can play really good defense. They got a clutch quarterback that with playoff experience. I think the Steelers have all the pieces in place to even go on a deep playoff run this year and win playoff games again. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Can Pittsburgh win a playoff game this year? Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already, because we got a bunch of great Steelers content coming your way all throughout this week. And then also next week as they prepare for their Week 10 matchup versus the Washington Commanders. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And until next time, here we go, Steelers. First segment in the books, Coop. Lots of good topics to discuss there. Is there anything that stood out to you on that particular?
I do think the point that you made there at the end is pretty prevalent. I think this team is built to win and win in January because of the way their defense plays. They don't need the offense to be special. If it's above league average, I think that is a recipe for success, especially in the AFC where I really think this defense could carry them all the way to the AFC title game, if not further, if we're being honest.
And you're right, Coop. They don't need this offense to be special, but the numbers that we showed were very, very promising.
Exactly.
I mean, they've been scoring over 30 points a game over the last 3 weeks, and especially over the last 2 weeks with Russell Wilson. They left 12 points on the field yesterday because of some lack of execution, penalties, George Pickens getting 2 of the same foot down, lots of weird things that kind of led to fewer touchdown passes and fewer points. But, I mean, if what should have happened last night, you're looking at a 38-point performance from the Steelers offense coming off of another 30-point performance against the Jets. And as we discussed, those defenses aren't bad defenses.
Not at all.
And they're still putting up over 30 points a game. So I really like what I'm seeing from every phase of the game from this Steelers team. I think Russell Wilson is at least a top 15 quarterback in the league. I don't think there's any argument right now to say that he is not an above-average starting quarterback in the league right now, especially with the fit that he has in Arthur Smith's system. He is executing it to a T. And it's a testament to his work ethic, his command of the offense. Because remember, this is his first year in the offense.
Yeah.
Look at what Aaron Rodgers is doing in his first year in his offense. It's not good.
Has he played in an offense similar to this before?
Shane Waldron's is kind of similar. They're from the West Coast. But Shane Waldron kind of runs more of a Sean McVay new school type of West Coast, whereas Arthur Smith is like Mike Shanahan, second generation, kind of older school, straight outside zone, play action concepts. So I'd say the Steelers run more kind of a more ground and pound, more traditional West Coast than a team like the Seattle Seahawks in his later days.
A thing that's significantly helping this offense is Najee Harris's emergence.
Yeah, and and another reason why I think Russ is the right fit here is that his ability to throw the deep ball and to threaten defenses vertically. I mean, when you watched the film when it was Justin Fields out there, everyone was worried about the run.
Yep.
Nobody was worried about the downfield shot, okay? Because they know Fields is okay as a downfield thrower, but he was extremely conservative. He wasn't pushing the ball down the field. He was missing open receivers down the field. And, defenses just kind of bailed out for the run, which is why Najee wasn't nearly as good with Fields on the field. But now with Russell Wilson, and he's got that moon ball, they've got to make sure that, they've got to pick their poison between stopping Najee Harris and putting guys deep or putting people up, stopping the run, and then Russ is able to throw it down the field.
Absolutely. And then once again, Dylan, we'll get to your super chat here in just a moment. Once again, Calvin Austin was wide open on multiple occasions, and they just couldn't find him.
I mean, what have I been telling you guys on this show for literally weeks? Calvin Austin III is getting open all the time, and I was just so happy that he had that breakout performance, man. He deserves it. He's been working his ass off all offseason, and he's the best route runner on the Steelers roster right now. And
you think including GP?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think in terms of true separation created, I would say that Calvin Austin III is the best separator on the team versus man coverage. But George Pickens is obviously the better player because he's got the bigger catch radius, better body control, better hands, all that kind of stuff. Plus, he's still a pretty decent route runner. But I think George Pickens and his emergence here over the last couple weeks kind of limits the need to go out and get a true number one receiver at the deadline.
I don't think you need a number one, and I'm not sure, unless it's Cooper Kupp, frankly, if that guy's even available. If you could get a solid number two like a Darius Slayton, I mean, I think that's all you
trade
need.
A sixth for him. I'd even go up as far as a fifth rounder for him. Jacoby Myers is another guy to keep your eye on, and then Mike Williams too.
This might be a ridiculous bias and something that doesn't matter, but anybody that has anything to do with the Las Vegas Raiders, I'm just not sure I want to deal with because they might just be radioactive.
Sure. I want to address this comment here from Jordan Rogers. Jordan says, why is the Slayton hype train on hyper speed all of a sudden? He's always been a decent receiver. All of a sudden, people are talking like he's Jefferson. LOL, Addison much better. Well,
he's not better.
First of all, Addison probably isn't going to get traded.
No.
All right. Not. Like, remember last year when George Pickens put something on his IG, which was like free 14 or something like that? I mean, people put stuff on their IGs all the time. I don't think Jordan Addison's getting traded, first of all.
He's not.
Second of all, the reason why Darius Slayton is getting gassed up here is because I think that he's actually a much better receiver than what Daniel Jones is allowing him to showcase. Because what is Darius Slayton? He is a very fast receiver, vertical threat guy that has good size. What does Daniel Jones almost never do? Throw the ball down the field. So if you put Darius Slayton and his ability to win deep down the field with a guy like Russell Wilson, I think that Darius Slayton's numbers could completely explode. Now, I don't think people are talking about him like he's Justin Jefferson.
No,
okay, I don't think that's what's happening.
And people are also talking about him because he's reportedly on the trade block.
Yeah, I mean, Garofalo says he might not be now, but, I mean, we'll see. $10 super chat coming in from Dylan Lewandowski. What's up, Dylan? Says Steelers are getting a 7th ring. I sure hope so, Dylan. I think in the NFL, especially with the one-and-done playoff system, the best you can do is give yourself a chance to do it.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that the best that any NFL team can do is give them a chance to win a Super Bowl. I think with everybody currently constructed, I love the depth on this football team too. I think the Steelers have a legitimate shot at it this year if they can stay healthy. If they can continue to play well on offense, defense, and special teams. They got one of the most complete teams in the league, man.
I love Danny Smith, by the way.
I love Danny Smith. I can't wait to see this team on Hard Knocks, man. Can you imagine if the Steelers win a Super Bowl this year and they capture everything on Hard Knocks?
Do you remember, was it last week? I forget, they made a big special teams play. I can't remember what it was, where everyone was just like jumping around Danny Smith and hyping him up.
Yeah.
Well, this week they couldn't do that because there was a flag, and it might have been on the Steelers, but the flag was on New York, so it was a touchdown, and then they mobbed him again. I love when they do that. I think that's awesome.
Well, Danny's just so great, man. He's in the weight room, doing the curls. You just love Danny, man, with the pack of gum. Kenneth Leonard Sr., one of our Black Diamonds, says, what do you think of Isabella? Calvin Austin had 2 TDs. Yes, he did. He had one punt return
Punt
touchdown and then a receiving touchdown. Isabella, he's a practice squad guy, man. He's smaller. What Isabella is that he is Roman Wilson's replacement pretty much on the non-active roster. That's what he is.
More or less.
You know, like he's not going to be somebody that comes in and has a starting role. Like we saw it this week, right? It was George Pickens, it was Van Jefferson, it was Calvin Austin III, and that's kind of your trio right now. That is until you trade for a different receiver, hopefully within the next week. So Isabella is a nothing burger in my opinion. Not really getting too excited or getting my hopes up for him.
It's a pretty busy day next Tuesday. A lot of things going on.
Yeah, a lot of things happening next Tuesday. You know, we got a presidential election. We won't go into that, but you know, it's going to be trade deadline. It's going to be a very, very busy day, man. Lots of implications for the world are going to be changing on that day.
Of course, trade deadline, way more important.
Way more important. Kirk Crater comes in with a 5. We got Captain Kirk, one of the brand new stickers here.
Shout out, Kirk.
Says, should the Steelers be shopping for an offensive lineman like Cam Robinson, Walker Little, or Nate Davis?
I mean, Broderick blows, but it's not worth probably trading for one of those guys, honestly.
Listen, man, Broderick Jones.
He stinks. He's awful.
He's been awful. You know, I think actually tomorrow or on Thursday's live show, we're going to do a show for just Broderick Jones replacements. We're going to go into the best options out there. And honestly, there's not a whole lot of great options. But
he mentioned Walker Little. That's a potential option.
Walker Little is a backup on Jacksonville right now. Like there's just not a whole lot of options because if you have good offensive tackles, you're not trading them.
You don't trade them.
You know, that's just the way it works. Because if one of them goes down, you want to have that swing guy. So, you know, Kirk, we'll probably get into a video later this week on Broderick Jones replacements. I think that's a good idea. But there's just not a whole lot of great ideas out there. I'm open to the idea of it. If you find somebody that you like and fits your system and you can trade like a 7th-round draft pick for, like Steelers have 3 7th-rounders next year. They can afford to get rid of one of them.
Trade for Tyron Smith, move Dan Moore to the right.
But here's the thing, man. I think if you bench Broderick Jones and you trade for his replacement, it's done.
Oh, yeah, it's over.
Like he's done.
It's over.
If anyone's hoping that he's going to be the future left tackle of this team, that dream ends if you go out and replace him.
Absolutely.
At the trade deadline, so we'll see. Okay, man, so keep getting those questions in. If you got more questions, if you want to put a comment on the show, you know, you guys can super chat, and we'll get you up on the show before we say goodbye today. But first, we've got one more segment. My updated record prediction for your Pittsburgh Steelers is coming at you right now. Today on Steelers Talk, I am updating my record prediction for the Pittsburgh Steelers as we approach the bye week here in Week 9 and after a 6-2 start for the Black and Gold here in the 2024 campaign. Before we get into it today, if you guys want to give me a follow on X for daily Steelers updates, the latest trade rumors, film study, all this stuff that I put up on my X. If you want more content from me pertaining to this football team, you can give me a follow at Jack_Sperry. Then also we have a brand new Steelers Talk Instagram page where we put out short form content on there just about every single day. So you guys can check that out as well at SteelersCS if you're on Instagram. So before we get into my updated record prediction here, let's talk about the results so far. Okay, and obviously it's been a little bit of a pattern here. You start the year off with 3 straight wins with Justin Fields. Then you have 2 straight losses with Justin Fields. Then you win that Week 6 game against the Raiders, putting up over 30 points. Then you make the switch to Russell Wilson, and you win 2 straight games against the New York teams at home on prime times, and you're currently sitting at 6-2. And what we said about this portion of the season heading into the year, guys, is that you wanted to go into the bye feeling good about your chances to make the playoffs because as we're going to go over here, it's going to be a gauntlet in the second half of the season, okay? So the fact that they're sitting at 6-2 heading into the bye week is definitely a good thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They did exactly what they needed to do to set themselves up for a playoff push here in the second half. So without further ado here, let's get into my updated record prediction, starting with Week 10 against the Washington Commanders on the road. Tough task, tough test here. I'm going to have them win. Mike Tomlin is excellent off of a bye. Another great sign of an excellent head coach is how good they are off a bye. Mike Tomlin is excellent. The Washington Commanders have a very good football team, but they don't have the best defense in the world. And, you know, I think that they don't have the best pass protection in the world on the offensive line. I think TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, they do a really good job getting the Jaden Daniels in this football game. And although I think it'll probably be close and it will be a tough game going into Washington there in Landover, Maryland to take the win. I do think Russell Wilson pulls off the win in the fourth quarter. Then in Week 11 against the Ravens, give me another win to get us to 8-2. Steelers get their revenge on Diontae Johnson in his second game, or maybe this will be his third game in a Ravens uniform at this point. But his first game in a Ravens uniform playing against his former team in the Pittsburgh Steelers. I just think that the Steelers take the Ravens' lunch money every year, even with guys like Kenny Pickett in the past. And I think Russell Wilson and the Steelers team is the best iteration of this Steelers team that we've seen in a while. So I just think that the Steelers know how to take care of business. They do a really good job defensively against Lamar Jackson, and I think the Steelers come out on top at home in Week 11. However, in Week 12, you got a short week against a Cleveland Browns team, which looks a lot better with Jameis Winston under center. Okay, and these games are always going to be physical. They're always going to be tough, and I don't love the fact that you're playing a really tough Ravens team. It's going to be a physical matchup, and then you have to play another division rival on a short week on primetime. That one kind of seems like a loss to me right now. So we'll give the Steelers the first loss here on my updated record prediction. Then we get to Week 13. I'm going to have them take another loss here to go to 8-4 on the road against the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Bengals aren't the best team in the world. They really don't have the best defense in the world, but I think Joe Burrow is a really, really good quarterback. They still, you look at their offensive numbers, they're still doing a really good job this season. Could the Steelers potentially get this win? I certainly think they'll be in the running here. I think it's going to be a close game on the road, but give me the Bengals to win this one in Week 13. But then you play the Browns again in Week 14. I think you get the win at home. I think you split against the Browns. I don't think the Browns are a good enough football team to sweep the Steelers this year or anything like that. So I think the Steelers get back in the win column in Week 14. Now, coming up here, we got the final stretch of 4 games to potentially win the AFC North here in Pittsburgh. But before we get into all that and I reveal what I think is going to happen here down the stretch here in Pittsburgh, go ahead right now and check out our friends at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And guys, we all know that experiencing a football game live, especially if it's a Pitt Panther or Pittsburgh Steeler game at Acrisure Stadium, it's just nothing like it, man. The Pitt Panthers are playing great football right now. They're still undefeated. And then you got the Pittsburgh Steelers that are playing great football as well. And we know how crazy Acrisure gets on Steelers game day. So if you want to go see more of those games this year live, go ahead right now and download the free Game Time app and use Game Time picks to filter out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. All you have to do to use Game Time picks is download the free Game Time app. Find an event you want to go see, select the Game Time Picks button at the top of the screen to filter out every single one of their tickets for that event to find the best tickets at the best prices with the best seats for the best deals for you and your family. What I love about using the Game Time app is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event. Also, you get transparent all-in pricing right up front so you don't get slapped with a crazy fee when you're checking out. Then also you get flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to game time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So after getting the win against the Browns in Week 14, I'm going to have the Steelers lose their third game in 4 weeks on the road in Philly. Now, here's the thing about Philly. Okay, you look at their overall numbers this year, it's been a little bit of a slow start, but they've been dealing with injuries to key players like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith on offense. And then on defense, they're learning a brand new defensive system coached by Vic Fangio, which history would indicate that, his defenses tend to play better as the season goes on. So I think Philly is going to be a very dangerous team towards the end of the season. The fact that you're going on the road makes it even more difficult. Could the Steelers win this game? Absolutely. I think the Steelers are going to be in just about every game they play this year, but give me the Eagles to win a close one on the road. Or at home, I guess, if we're talking about Philly. Week 16 against the Ravens. Give me the sweep over Diontae Johnson and the Ratbirds, man. Like I said, this team eats or takes the Ravens' lunch money every year. They swept them last year. I think the Steelers team is even better this year. I think they're going to do a good enough job stopping Derrick Henry. I think they always do a good job against Lamar Jackson. Give me the Steelers to sweep the Ratbirds this year here in 2024. Then in Week 17, I do think the Steelers are going to be in this football game, but I'm going to give it to the Chiefs, okay? Because I think Pacheco should be back by this point in time. When we play them on Christmas. The Steelers will be home, so they do have that home field advantage. I think this Steelers team is built to win. kind of late in the season. If there's snow on the ground, if it's a weather game, I do think Najee Harris in the run game for Pittsburgh plus the great run defense for the Steelers definitely helps out the Steelers' chances to win this game. Could go either way, but the Chiefs are going to be a tough one, so I'll chalk this one up to a loss. Now make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon if you think the Pittsburgh Steelers win the AFC North this year. I certainly think there's a good chance that the Steelers could pull that off. And then in Week 18, I think that to get to 11 wins here, they end up beating the Cincinnati Bengals at home to finish up their 2024 regular season to get them to a final record projection here of 11-6. Now, like we talked about, I think that there's winnable games on that schedule that I'm chalking up as losses. I think you can beat Philadelphia. I think you can beat Kansas City. Okay, I think that the record could even get up to 13 wins this year for the Pittsburgh Steelers if they play well enough down the stretch. And I don't think that that's completely out of the question with the way I think this team is built to win games late in the season when, the snow is on the ground and it's windy and it's cold outside. I think the Steelers' combination of great run game and then also great defense is really a great formula to win, especially in the AFC North. At home at Acrisure Stadium late in the year, and then also in the postseason. 11 wins would almost certainly get you into the postseason this year, and I'm hoping that the Pittsburgh Steelers can win the division and then also bring a playoff win to Pittsburgh for the first time since the 2016 season. So it's your turn. Let me know down there in the comments section. Predict the Steelers' final record this year. I got 11-6, and honestly, that's a little bit conservative. I think they could get to 12 or 13 if they really turn it on and they really have a great rest of their season. So make sure you predict the Steelers' final record down there in the comments section. Chalk me up to 11-6. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really do appreciate each and every person that makes it to the end of these videos. Really does help us out here at Steelers Talk. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button for more in-depth, informative Steelers coverage every single day. And until next time, here we go, Steelers. All right, baby.
It makes you wonder, what would the record be? Number one, the record right now be if Russell Wilson was the starting QB.
It's a good question.
They could be 8-0.
It's a good question. Now, I will say the defense still wouldn't have gotten off to a good start against Indy. So does Russell Wilson in the offense end up scoring more points than the 24 points that Justin Fields ended up getting against the Colts? I would say there's a chance.
Yeah.
I would say you're probably sitting at least 7-1 because I think the Steelers beat the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football with Russell Wilson as opposed to Justin Fields. That's where I'm at. But they could very easily be 8-0 if Russ was starting the entire season. But I mean, at this point, we're just dealing with in hypotheticals there. We're sitting at 6-2, sitting in a really good spot. I think this team is built to win late in the season. I think they're going to get to easily double-digit wins. They're going to get to the postseason again. And I think that they're built to win in January with Russell Wilson at quarterback.
Do you think that 11-6 is good enough to win this division?
It's going to be close, man, because Baltimore is right on your back. Now, I will say, if both teams are sitting at 11 wins, sweeping the Ravens is going to be big.
Of course.
Because you get the tiebreaker there. So the Ravens would have to win. So let's just take the two losses that we project there. So they would have to win literally every other game on their schedule.
Yeah.
If they lose to the Steelers twice. So honestly, I'd have to say yes. I think 11-6 is good enough to win the division this year if you sweep the Ravens.
And that gives you a home playoff game at Acrisure, and hopefully that gives you your first playoff win since 2016.
Yeah, and if you win the division, you play a wild card team instead of a division winner on the road. And honestly, Acrisure in January, not an easy place to play, especially in front of a rowdy Steelers crowd. We've seen it the last 2 weeks. It's just so hard to go to Acrisure and win.
When they show Renegade there early in the fourth, the crowd is going nuts.
I mean, what do you expect? This is the best fan base in the entire world. I love these people, man. I'm just absolutely fantastic.
Do you think
being part of this community?
That more Chat Sports channels are going to challenge us?
Yeah, we'll see, man.
Who's next?
Well, it would be Commanders, but they're not gonna.
Well,
yeah, that's not gonna happen. Then week 11 would be Baltimore. But they're such a smaller channel. I don't think Joey Peterson wants to touch us.
I feel like our next big challenge is week 15 against the Eagles.
You think the Browns will challenge us?
They shouldn't.
The Browns. If I know anything about Browns fans, and if I know anything about Matthew Peterson, he likes to run his mouth.
They're a little delusional.
And they're a little delusional.
Yeah, that's
so,
possible.
I mean, I have no problem. I mean, I know, our community's
We'll welcome it.
We'll welcome it. We'll take care of business against them if they want to challenge us. But, yeah, the Eagles now versus Steelers Talk Super Chat battle could be pretty good.
I don't think Stone is going to have the stones to challenge us.
No way.
With
I
the
mean,
Bengals.
there's just no way.
I
mean, we passed their amount of likes by kickoff
Yeah.
yesterday. So, I mean, I don't think they could keep up with us in soups.
Let's see. Who else we got here? We don't have a Chargers channel, unfortunately.
I think it's
Tyler Jones and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, we're killing them.
I mean,
we're killing them.
Destroy.
There's just nobody else.
No.
I mean, our biggest challenges were going to be Cowboys and Raiders.
Yep.
And it just
They learned.
And then they learned their lesson.
Yep.
If you guys want to get a question on here, if you want to put on a little bit of a shot clock here,
we can do
Coop,
that.
maybe a 2-minute shot clock. If you guys want to get a question on the show, you guys can send in a super chat. We'll put it up on screen and talk about whatever topic you want. We'll put up that timer for 2 minutes.
Just no politics.
Just no politics, please. I know it's a very, very. This is a place where we want just football talk.
We want
all right?
harmony.
We want this place to be an escape from that kind of stuff.
We want harmony.
Solo One says we are only going to win 2 more games. We will split the Bengals and Browns, and we all have way too much faith in Russell Wilson. Well, I mean,
I will bet you $1,000 the Steelers win more than 2 games.
I mean, Solo, I think you're too pessimistic. Honestly, man, like this defense is a top 5 defense. The offense has scored over 31 points a game these last 2 weeks with Russell Wilson. And by the way, that's with the offense keeping touchdowns on the field.
They could have had 38 points.
They could have had 38 points yesterday.
Yeah.
If Van Jefferson stops to catch the football, if Broderick Jones doesn't rip the face mask on the first drive, and if George Pickens gets his other foot down, we're talking about a 38 to who knows how much the Giants score in that situation. Blowout
Absolutely.
win for the Steelers. Okay, so just based on the 2-game sample we have in Russell Wilson, he's throwing the ball down the field with great precision and accuracy. He's giving guys opportunities to make plays. He made a bunch of big-time third down and long conversions yesterday. There was multiple times. The Calvin Austin, the third touchdown, happened on 3rd and 8 versus an all-out blitz. Put it right in the bucket for Calvin. I think that Russ has been awesome these last 2 weeks, and I think this team has been awesome these last 2 weeks. Offense, defense, special teams. You can make an argument the Steelers have the most complete football team in the game today. Name a team that has been as good these last 2 weeks, offense, defense, special teams. You can't do it.
No, you can't. The last 2 weeks, for sure, they've been.
But now, obviously, they have to keep up that level of play. But I think that, there's lots of reasons to be optimistic. I definitely don't think this season ends with an 8-9 record.
Saying the Steelers are going to win 2 more games the rest of the season is balderdash.
By the way,
you missed it.
But yeah, balderdash. No, I heard it. So here, I'm going to look up Mike Tomlin's record off a bye, too. I know that Commanders game is going to be a little bit of a challenge.
It's a lot.
But I think that they can do it. Mike Tomlin record off a bye. Mike Tomlin is 12-4 in his career off a bye. That is an excellent record. I feel like Mike Tomlin is going to have his guys ready to go. I think that this pass rush is well equipped to stop that rushing attack that they have there in Washington. I think that the pass rush can get after the quarterback, and I think that the offense will be good enough to keep up and win the game late. I think it'll be a good game in the 4th quarter, and I think the Steelers will win it. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I think they're going to win that game too. Look, the Commanders are one of the surprises of the league this year.
They're good. They are a good team.
They're a good team.
Very well coached.
They sit at 6-2 as well.
Jaden Daniels might be the best rookie quarterback I've ever laid eyes on. He is that good.
He's damn good, man.
And he elevates their offense big time when he's on the field. But Mike Tomlin knows how to win games off a bye, man. It's just a fact. I mean, 12-4 speaks for itself. So I think that game they have a really good chance to win. I think the Ravens game the following week, they have a really good chance to win. So, I mean, those are 2 wins right there for you.
I wish Deshaun was still playing for the Browns.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, if Deshaun was playing for the Browns, you can chalk that up to a sweep.
Yep.
But now that it's Jameis, I think it's looking more like a split.
Yep.
But that's just me.
No, I agree.
All right, man. So because we didn't get any super chats there, we're gonna say goodbye for the day. It's been so much fun talking some Steelers football with you guys. Remember, we are going live on Thursday. I believe, do you have a watch party that day?
Thursday at 4.
5.
5 Eastern.
5 Eastern. We're going to go live Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern, getting you guys ready for the weekend, all that great stuff. So appreciate your guys' support. If there's a trade, we're going to have breaking news live shows, so always stay diligent for that. Make sure you click that subscribe button for every single time we put out a video here on Steelers Talk. Coop, you got any final thoughts before we say goodbye?
Exciting to be 6-2 going into the bye week. It's a I'm not a big fan of the bye week. I know the team needs rest, but I just want to watch the team play football every week.
And by the way, the cavalry's coming. Cam Sutton is back. Nick Herbig will be back. Zach Frazier will be back. That'll be a big one. Corey Trice Jr. will be back. Maybe you'll get another receiver. I mean, I think this Steelers team is about to go on.
We might see you in New Orleans, fellas.
We might see you in New Orleans. I mean, we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. We're going to take it 1 week at a time here, but it's definitely looking like this team has a shot to make a run in the playoffs this year. And that, by the way, with the quarterback situation that you had this offseason, out of all the options you had, I mean, there was probably one option that you had, a realistic option, that could put you in this position right now. And it was to sign Russell Wilson. And that's what they did. So kudos to Omar Khan. Kudos to Mike Tomlin for making that right call to give this team the best possible shot to win a Super Bowl. All right, guys, that'll be it for today's show. We'll see you guys later.
But wait.
Oh, we just got a $10 super chat.
Solo
won with a $10 super chat. Solo, you may think that the Steelers are only going to win 2 more games, but you know what? We respect that opinion.
We love deferring opinions here on Steelers Talk.
We like to talk Steelers, man. So even Solo, if you're not a big fan of Russell Wilson, if you don't think this team is as good as their 6-2 record suggests, we appreciate the hell out of you, Solo. So thank you so much for stopping by today, guys. And until next time, here we go, Steelers.
Adios.